of LSU. Tonight, we've got SEC baseball. It's the Auburn Tigers meeting the LSU Tigers. We bring you inside Alex Box Stadium, Skip Bertman Field, with former Major League Baseball #1 draft pick and Olympic gold medal winner Ben McDonald. I'm Len Rollins. Ben, it's day 2 of this series. Last night, LSU, behind a masterful performance from Alex Lang, was a 4-0 victor.
Well, it might have been the biggest game of the year for LSU, and boy, their big-time guys showed up. Alex Lang was outstanding. Landed 118 pitches. He threw 81 strikes, a complete game shutout, no walks, 9 strikeouts, 7th career complete game, and 2nd career shutout.
Let's look at up to the minute Southeastern Conference standings. You'll see that LSU is just 1 game behind the leaders in the loss column. Auburn, on the other hand, a different story.
Yeah, for LSU, they're keeping pace. Mississippi State beat Georgia today early, so LSU continues to be 1 game out of first place in the West and 1 game out overall. For Auburn, Lynn, it's a different story. Look, they were #1 when play began a week ago today. They got swept last weekend by Alabama. They've lost 5 in a row now. They're all the way down to #7 in the SEC standings. They need somehow to get it turned around tonight.
Tonight's pitching matchup is intriguing. One of the aces for Auburn will be on the mound. That is Keegan Thompson. He's one of the best pitchers in the SEC. Jared Poche, with 35 career victories, is just 3 short of tying the LSU all-time record. Ben, Auburn Tigers, LSU Tigers, side-by-side numbers.
Yeah, look at the numbers. I mean, 2 evenly matched teams. LSU with a slight advantage in batting average and ERA.
Well, the Auburn Tigers have only one 300 hitter in this lineup, and that's Jonah Todd at the top. He's batting .380. Dylan Ingram had 3 of the Auburn 5 base hits last night. He was 3 for 3. It's a lineup that will go against the senior left-hander Jared Poche. Poche has been really good in his career at LSU, but Ben McDonald, I think the word that best describes him is consistent.
No doubt. I mean, if he wins tonight, Lynn, it'll be 4 consecutive years he won 9 games here at LSU. That's how consistent he is. 38 wins in the career is the most for any Tiger in the history of this program. If Jared Poche wins tonight, he'll be at 36 career victories.
He's only given up 60 hits in 73 innings. His control has been good, although the last couple of starts, he's had a couple of rough patches with control, but only 22 walks, and he has struck out 49. And here we go, middle game of the 3-game series from Alex Box Stadium, Skip Bertman Field. Cloudy skies right now. There was some heavy rain in parts of Baton Rouge today, but it hasn't rained here in about 3 hours, and the field, which took some rain earlier, is in good shape.
If you are not familiar with Jared Poche, fastball's not blistering. He's going to pitch anywhere from about 85, and you will bump 90, 91 occasionally, but he's a control guy. As Lynn mentioned, a couple different breaking balls, big overhand curveball, a little cutter to go with it, and a really good changeup.
One ball, 1 strike to Jonah Todd. He grounds one through on the right side. Cole Freeman, who gets to a lot of those, came up a little short on the effort, so a ground single to the right side for Jonah Todd to open the ball game.
Yeah, Jonah Todd, a really good hitter. #2 in the SEC in batting average, only trailing one Brent Rooker at Mississippi State.
This brings on Daniel Robert, who has driven in 37 this year. He's had 10 doubles, couple of triples, and 4 homers, so Poche immediately will pitch from the stretch against Daniel Robert.
You see the size of Daniel Robert, 6'5" and 236. 4 home runs on the year, 37 RBIs.
He's a big target for Poche. And he is first pitch swinging. Zach Watson is retreating in a hurry, and the freshman center fielder gets there and now tries to throw back to first base as Jonah Todd had moved all the way to second, but Todd gets back. Zach Watson with a quick retreat, getting that deep fly ball. Let's check LSU defensively. Antoine Duplantis, Zach Watson, Greg Dykman from left to right in the pasture. Nick Coombs, Cole Freeman, Kramer Robertson, and Josh Smith from first to third on the infield. Jared Poche and Michael Papierski form the LSU battery. This brings on Connor Davis, hitting .292. He's making his 31st start. Davis has not been an everyday player. A runner at first base, one out. We are just underway. LSU and Auburn. A cat fight tonight. The outfield is deep and straight away. There's the off-speed pitch. Poche does that so well, Ben.
Well, that's what he has to do to be effective. I mean, his game is staying out of the middle of the plate. He will pitch to the corners with his fastball, both inside and away. Loves to speed the bat up by throwing the fastball inside. Then he'll slow that bat down as he did right there with an outstanding changeup.
Davis was the DH last night. He was hitless in 4 at-bats. And he struck out 3 times. Poche finds the strike zone and now works ahead. A ball, 2 strikes.
We'll see 3 different pitches from Poche to Connor Davis. Fastball to begin. Missed with ball 1, then came back with a 1-0 changeup, and then a breaking ball on top of that. So lots of places he can go here. We'll see what Michael Papierski puts down. Looks like 3. That's got to be some type of breaking ball.
Freeman gets in front of it. It comes up into his chest to Robertson for 1. Over to Coombs for 2. And LSU, a 4-6-3 double play, takes care of business defensively, and that was well started by Freeman. This was a difficult hop.
#1 defense in the SEC and one of the best in the country. LSU turns the 4-6-3 double play. Going to the bottom of the first inning. Auburn couldn't push on a run. LSU will try to get on front like it did last night.
We're scoreless as we head to the bottom of the first inning. LSU has 5 300 hitters in the lineup. 4 of them are lined up consecutively. Cole Freeman, Antoine Duplantis, Greg Dykman, and Nick Coombs. The other is at the bottom in Zach Watson. And it's a lineup which will take its cuts against one of the best right-handers in the Southeastern Conference. This is Keegan Thompson.
Yeah, take a look at them numbers. I love the strikeout-to-walk ratio. Only 11 walks in 69 in the 3rd innings pitched. The fastball is up to 93, Lynn. He'll be 89 to 93. He'll use both sides of the plate. He's a 4-pitch guy, though. Big curveball, tight slider. So 2 different breaking balls and a changeup to go with it.
He has allowed 16 hits, fewer than innings pitched, which is really good. Normally, he would not pitch the middle game of a series.
Yeah, normally he's a Friday night guy or maybe a Saturday night guy because Casey Mize will pitch tomorrow night for Auburn. And he's certainly the ace of the staff. But Keegan Thompson, make no mistake about it, he has been as good as anybody this year.
Thompson and Mize got backed up one day in the rotation because of the way this Thursday series started and because of some a doubleheader and a lot of innings a few days ago for the Auburn Tigers, so they decided to go ahead and back up at least the 2 frontline pitchers in this series.
Yeah, with a doubleheader last weekend, Auburn had to play 2 on Saturday. Mize and Keegan Thompson both pitched on Saturday, so Keegan Thompson comes back 1 day early, and Mize will stay on his regular 7-day rotation.
Ben, you mentioned it when we started the telecast, but the fact that Auburn, just a week and a half ago, was the talk of the Southeastern Conference, and now it's the talk of the Southeastern Conference for maybe another reason. It has fallen a lot in a hurry, 5 consecutive losses, but the RPI has really plummeted for Auburn over the last week.
Yeah, a week ago today, we were talking about Auburn being a regional host. I mean, they were #1 in the SEC. Alabama comes to town and sweeps Auburn. Nobody saw that coming. So Auburn's kind of fell on hard times as of late. But make no mistake about it, this is a good team. This is a team that has as many series victories in the SEC as any team does. Well, they only lost 2 series the whole year long. So while they've hit a little bit of a rough patch here, they're certainly capable of getting it turned around.
Kramer Robertson last night scored a couple of times. He was 0 for 3. Robertson hits a 1-hopper to the second baseman. Estes is there, and there's out #1. Defensively, the Auburn Tigers line it up this way. Josh Anthony, Will Holland, Jay Estes, Dylan Ingram on the infield. Jeremy Johnson, Jonah Todd, and Daniel Robert in the outfield. Blake Logan is catching. Keegan Thompson is pitching. Cole Freeman hitting .324. 1 home run. He's driven in 28. A strike from Keegan Thompson, who throws a lot of them.
He's a strike thrower. Now that fastball at 92, so he's been 88 to 92, just what the scout report said to this point.
Freeman was hitless last night. He chops this one down to Anthony, who leaps before he comes down to catch it, and Freeman is retired. So a ground ball to the second baseman is followed by one to the third baseman. Freeman is out on that chopper to the left side. Here's Duplantis, who sits safely in 4 consecutive games. And his average has moved to .323. He leads LSU along with Dykeman with 63 hits. He's also second in RBI behind Dykeman's 58. Duplantis has knocked in 43.
How about that back-to-back changeups by Keegan Thompson? We talked about the 4-pitch mix, and that's the thing about him, what makes him so good. He can pretty much throw any of his 4 pitches in any count.
The infield is deep for Duplantis. Shortstop Holland and second baseman Estes are on the edge of the grass and the dirt. First baseman Ingram is giving a lot of room at first, down on the right side as well. This is popped up left side. Anthony and Holland are there. The shortstop now yields to Anthony, and Josh Anthony makes the catch in foul ground. So a swift inning for Keegan Thompson, a couple of ground outs and a foul out to the third baseman. We go to the second. We are scoreless. Auburn and LSU. The Auburn-LSU series began over 100 years ago. LSU has 100 wins against 72 defeats. And the Tigers of LSU lately have been really effective against Auburn. They've won 12 of the last 14. And LSU has won 4 consecutive series against the Auburn Tigers.
Well, it's been a tremendous turnaround season for Auburn. Go back to last year, they were 10 games below 500 overall, Butch Thompson's group. And this year, they've really turned around. Plus, Auburn won 8 games in a 30-game SEC schedule last year, finished second to last, only behind Arkansas in the league last year. But this year has been a totally different story for these Auburn Tigers.
Isn't it interesting the way Arkansas and Auburn have both rebounded from very dismal 2016s? A strike to Ingram, who had 3 base hits. He was 3 for 3 last night. Auburn had only 5 hits against Lang. Ingram had 3 of them. Ingram has hit safely in 7 consecutive games, which is a career high for this fellow. 8 homers. He is tied for the team leadership with 37 runs batted in. He and Robert Daniel share the RBI lead for Auburn. 2-1 pitch. Just misses.
See Poche pitching backwards a little bit. 2-1 count. It's a fastball count, but yet he throws a changeup and just misses, and that's how he pitches. He's going to pitch a little bit backwards. And you got to with this guy. You mentioned how hot Ingram has been last 16 games. 7 home runs in those last 16 games.
That is turning the switch.
Yeah, Auburn will kind of fool you. If you look at the overall numbers for him, I mean, only 25 home runs. That's dead last in the SEC for the season. But if you go their last 17 games, they've hit 15 home runs. So
which I suspect is the most in the SEC over that period.
It is right at the top. So they've kind of found their power stroke.
3-2 pitch is rammed into right center field, and that is down between the outfielders. Watson gets to it quickly and gets it back to the infield. But a leadoff single by Ingram. He's 4 for 4 in the series. Jonah Todd single to open the ball game, and Dylan Ingram does the same thing here in the second inning.
Well, Ingram's one of those guys that's swinging it and seeing it so good right now. You just can't afford to pitch behind in the count to him. You can't get in predictable counts where he knows fastball's coming. 3 times last night Alex Lang got behind him, and yet 3 times he got a base hit. That was the case again right there. But a good job by the center fielder for LSU. Zach Watson hustled to that ball in the gap and was able to hold Ingram to just a single.
So Ingram has extended his career best hitting streak to 8 games. He does it promptly here in the middle game of this series. This brings on Josh Anthony, who takes a fastball strike at the letters. Anthony is batting .286. He's driven in 31. Josh Smith's got it to Freeman. Over to first. Double play. Josh Smith started it. He got a little off balance. Threw the ball to Freeman, who made a very nice recovery at second base. And then Freeman, who pivots and throws as well as anybody, completes the play.
Yeah, right here, Josh Smith stumbles a little bit. Cole Freeman stumbles as well, but because the ball was hit so hard and because LSU is really quick, you're right, Freeman can turn a double play as good as anybody. Of course, Josh Smith played shortstop in high school, and he's over at third base. LSU has 3 shortstops really in that middle infield and over at third base, and that's what makes the defense so good for LSU.
So the Tigers go 4-6-3 in the first inning. 5-4-3 here in the second inning. 2 outs for Blake Logan, the catcher. LSU coming into this game had a .986 fielding percentage in SEC play, and that is the best in the league. And Ben, there aren't but a handful of teams fielding better overall than the LSU Tigers in the country.
Oh, no doubt. LSU top 10 in the country in fielding percentage. And that's been the one thing for LSU. If you go back and look at them all season long, while at times the pitching hasn't been there, the relief pitching's been at question at times, the hitting has been kind of hit and miss, but the defense has been the constant for LSU, and that's the reason why really they've had a chance to only sit 1 game out of first place.
The 0-2 pitch is off the mark. Well, in fact, LSU nationally is the 5th best fielding team. Only 4 teams have a higher fielding percentage than LSU in the country, and that's well over 300 teams.
Yep, and they played. That's what's played so well for them this year. And if you talk to head coach Paul Maneri and others, they think LSU just have not played their best baseball as of yet, and that's the positive thing. So LSU's hoping to catch fire. Auburn's hoping to catch fire. Mississippi State continues to be on fire as they lead the Western Division.
Logan stays alive. Blake Logan did not play last night. Damon Hecker was the catcher for Auburn in Game 1. Tonight it's Blake Logan.
Pretty good at bat here by Blake Logan. He got down 0-2, but yet has worked the count back to 3-2, back to a predictable count. We'll see if Jared Poche throws a fastball or goes with something off speed on a 3-2 count. Let's see what Michael Papierski to put down the old number 1 fastball.
And Poche comes back to miss low. So Blake Logan with a very good at bat. He's aboard with 2 outs.
Yeah, those are the ones that really hurt. When you get somebody down 0-2, you want to finish them. You see Alan Dunn, who calls all the pitches, the pitching coach for LSU, and those are hard to swallow. You get down 0-2, you want to finish a guy. You got to be able to finish a guy when you get him 0-2.
You also can save 3 or 4 pitches. Here's Jeremy Johnson, the left fielder. This young man is a freshman, is making only his 12th start. Steve, right one over the outside edge. Johnson had 3 at-bats last night, and he was hitless. Smith gets up, makes a strong, accurate throw. Put a star by that one. Josh Smith, the freshman third baseman, acted like a vacuum cleaner on that play. Watch this, Ben McDonald.
How about this? This #1 defense has been on display early in this ballgame. 2 double plays, and Josh Smith with an outstanding play to end the top of the second inning. Nothing going to the bottom of the second.
LSU will come to the plate in the bottom of the second inning. Auburn has had a couple of base runners, a first inning single by Jonah Todd, a second inning single by Dylan Ingram. They were both erased on subsequent double plays. Dykeman, Coombs, and Smith will bat against Keegan Thompson. Dykeman is first pitch swinging and drives one deep to center field. Todd is back. He is on the warning track and he makes the play 2 steps in front of the center field wall. That was hit directly to center field and struck about 395 feet, but Dykeman comes up a little bit short with Jonah Todd backpedaling for the play.
Oh, a nice play by Jonah Todd. That's the hardest one for an outfielder. The ball hit right at you and over your head. He turned and put his back to the infield and easily ran that ball down.
Keegan Thompson has allowed 4 home runs this year. His fellow ace, Casey Mize, who will pitch tomorrow for Auburn, has thrown 64 2/3 innings in 10 starts and not allowed a home run. You don't often see pitchers bend this deep into a season, regular starters who have not yielded a home run. Is there room for Ingram? There is not.
Well, both Keegan Thompson and Casey Mize missed some time this year. Keegan Thompson missed a couple of starts right in the middle of the season. Arm got a little bit tender on him. He's been back for about 4 starts now. Casey Mize just came back last weekend. He missed 2 starts as well. And while it hurt Auburn a little bit at the time, it's probably going to benefit them later on because these guys don't have quite the innings that everybody else's aces have. So they could be a little bit stronger down the stretch.
Coombs lifts this one on the right side. Ingram in fair ground has it. And there are quickly 2 outs.
LSU now with 3 consecutive pop-ups off of Keegan Thompson. That tells me his fastball's got a little bit of life to it, a little bit of extra to it right at the end. It's been anywhere from 88 to 92, but sometimes even at those velocities, you'll have a little extra life. LSU not able to get on top a whole lot as of yet.
Smith is first pitch swinging, sends a 1-hopper to the right side. Estes turns it into an out. And on 6 pitches, LSU is retired. We go to the third. Auburn nothing, LSU nothing on the SEC ESPN network. Auburn got a hit in the first and another one in the second, but no damage done. Double plays turned in both innings by LSU. And we play in the third. We are scoreless, the Auburn Tigers and the LSU Tigers. There's Butch Thompson in his second season as the Auburn head coach. 3 games above 500 right now overall at Auburn. A former assistant and associate head coach at Mississippi State. And the 2014 National Assistant Coach of the Year.
He was a head recruiter there at Mississippi State and had some great years working under John Cohen. 7 years at Mississippi State. They went to 4 regionals, 2 super regionals. Of course, was a College World Series runner-up. Mississippi State was back in 2013. Butch Thompson's been around for a while. 24 years of total college coaching experience. Only his second year as a head coach at Auburn.
1 ball, 1 strike on second baseman Jay Estes. Will Holland, the shortstop, will follow, and then we go to the top of the order in center fielder Jonah Todd. Estes struck out a couple of times against Lang last night and was hitless. Poche throws that changeup, and he's got a great one. We've already had one final out of the SEC today. Mississippi State beat Georgia in the first game of that series 9-3. Brent Rooker had a 3-run home run for Mississippi State. That's his 19th of the year.
(19 or 20) might be his 20th of the year.
Let's add one. It is his 20th. Yep.
He's the first Mississippi State player to do it since 1989, have 20 homers in a season. What a year he is having. Continues to lead the league in batting average, home runs, RBIs, and tied for the lead in stolen bases.
I think it's easier to say what he's not leading the league in.
Yeah, if you look at every offensive category, he's there.
O'Shea records his first strikeout. That's a dandy pitch. It got down and under the hands of Estes.
It's all about the location. Look where Michael Papierski is set up, and Jared Poche throws that breaking ball down and in underneath the bat of Estes. He just couldn't get to it.
Here's Holland, the shortstop, out of Lawrenceville, Georgia. He's a rookie. Mississippi State 9, Georgia 3. That's the only final we've had so far today in the SEC. Kentucky has scored a lot early against Tennessee, leading 10-1 in the 5th inning. That game is in Lexington, Tennessee, trailing by 9 at Kentucky. Alabama leads South Florida. Or excuse me, it leads Florida 1-0 in the 6th. Alabama 1, Florida 0 in the 6th inning. Vanderbilt 2-1 over Arkansas. They are in Fayetteville tonight, playing in the top of the 5th. Missouri at home has a 2-0 lead over South Carolina. Watson is retreating, still backpedaling, turns the other way, and he's got it. Will Holland gave it a ride, but he could not beat Zach Watson. Watson twice has gotten on his pony and retreated into deep center field to make a catch.
Zach Watson, too, was a shortstop in high school, just a freshman. Comes to LSU. They put him in the outfield. Why? Because he can really run, has a plus arm out there as well.
Missouri 2, South Carolina 0 in the 3rd. And Texas A&M has jumped out on top of Ole Miss in Oxford tonight. It's 6-1 in the 3rd inning. Jonah Todd opened the game with a base hit as he grounded one between Freeman and Coombs on the right side. 2 outs, nobody on base. We are scoreless in the 3rd. There is a slight wind blowing from left to right. There's that lazy breeze lifting the flags in center field. That's blowing from the left field foul pole toward the right field bleachers. 76 degrees right now. Winds out of the west at 9. Partly cloudy is the forecast. Tomorrow should be fine. A noon start. Poche hits the head pin. 3-1. Duplantis sizes it up in left field. He takes the liner, and Jonah Todd is retired. So for the first time, Auburn does not get a base runner. It's a 3-up, 3-down frame for Jared Poche. We sail to the bottom of the 3rd, scoreless in Baton Rouge. 2 hits for Auburn. LSU batting in the bottom of the 3rd inning. There are ciphers in the run column. We're in Baton Rouge tonight as Paul Mainieri looks on. He's in his 11th season in Baton Rouge. He's closing in on 500 victories as a Tiger head coach. 1,357 career victories. And, of course, the national championship in 2009 at LSU.
Paul Mainieri, one of 7 coaches in NCAA history with over 1,300 wins and a national title to his credit. Averaged 46 wins a season in his 10 years at LSU.
LSU this year 33-17, 16-9 in the Southeastern Conference. The Tigers of the home team have not yet had a base runner. This will be Bo Jordan, Michael Papierski, and Zach Watson against Keegan Thompson. These 2 pitchers, Ben, are fun to watch. They're a little different, but the bottom line is they know what they're doing and they're able to control the baseball.
No doubt. I mean, and that, Keegan Thompson, of course, fastball's a little bit better than Jared Poche's, but just watch him pitch and watch how he spots it up. I mean, that ball just knee-high right on the outside corner, and that's his game. We talked about his 11 walks for the entire season. Now, the fastball's plus. It's 88-92, but just watch the catcher, Logan. Watch where his glove is and watch how close Keegan Thompson comes, whatever pitch he wants to throw. Look at that. I mean, fastball just missed by inches down.
That's a good take by Bo Jordan.
Yeah. That's how you can always tell. Sometimes the results don't really say how good a pitcher's pitching, but if you watch the catcher and watch the glove, this is a breaking ball here. Let's see where this one's located. Right up.
And the play made by the second baseman, Estes. You and I were watching Thompson warm up, and Auburn apparently brings a simple contraption with them to have their pitchers warm up, and it forces them to keep the ball down when they're warming up before the game.
Yep, 2 poles set up, and then you run a string across just about knee-high, and when he warms up, he tries to be below or at that string every time, and that's why he's been able to create. What does he have? 1, 2, 3, 4, so out of the 7 outs, he's got 4 ground balls, and that's his game. Now, he will elevate up in the zone at times when he gets ahead with the fastball.
Michael Papierski takes it tight, ball 1. Papierski has been an improved hitter the last couple of weeks. Batting .230. But he's hitting .323 in his last 10 games, and that's second best on the team.
Yeah, that's what LSU's been needing is some depth at the bottom of that lineup because, when you look at LSU's lineup, you got Kramer, Robertson, Freeman, Duplantis, and Dykeman. Those are proven commodities for LSU. You know those guys are going to get on base and do their thing, but down towards the bottom, Michael Papierski, Zach Watson, Bo Jordan, Josh Smith, I think that's really the key for LSU to having a little bit more consistent offense.
Papierski normally will make opposing pitchers work at the plate. He does not swing at a lot of off-the-plate pitches. 3-1 now.
This is his count. I mean, you got to look fastball and hope that Keegan Thompson makes a mistake right here.
So Papierski becomes LSU's first base runner as he earns a walk. And this brings on Watson. One on, one out. We are scoreless in the 3rd. LSU 11th ranked, Auburn 14th. Only one SEC series remains. Watson looks at that one low, but he committed, says the first base umpire. These teams are bunched in the polls, but there's a much wider gap in RPI. Auburn is number 41 with a very dramatic fall the last week and a half.
LSU moved up to number 12 in the RPI after beating Auburn last night.
The 1-1 to the freshman. A little off the mark.
Florida currently sitting as the highest ranked RPI team at number 4. Followed by Kentucky at number 8. Of course, LSU at 12. And you're right, then they're just really bunched up. Mississippi State's at 13. Arkansas is right there at 16.
That's last off of Anthony at third. Papierski was running on the play, and he never hesitates. LSU on a hit-and-run line drive off of the glove of Josh Anthony has runners at first and third.
How about Zach Watson? I mean, he barrels this ball up and hits it as hard as you can hit it. And what an effort by Anthony, the third baseman for Auburn, lays out. And you're right, Michael Papierski with a great read right there. Saw the ball kick down the line. Not a fast guy, but you don't have to be fast to be a good base runner. Michael Papierski got a good read on that ball. Knew he could take the extra 90 feet and did it.
So Papierski is at third, Watson at first with only one out. And this brings on Kramer Robertson. And it's been situations like these that have been somewhat problematic for LSU the last 2 or 3 weeks, and also at earlier times in the season.
No doubt. Or just go back to the opening game last weekend versus South Carolina. LSU 3 times had a runner at third base and less than 2 out.
Another hit and run and a little poke to the right side. Robertson drives in the game's first run. Watson was moving from first base. So Pulmonary, putting the base runners in motion, forced the Auburn infield to react, and Kramer Robertson just leans out and flicks this one and drives in the run.
What a nice effort by Kramer Robertson. This ball is off the plate, but the hit and run zone, he's got to protect Zach Watson going down to second base. So he leans out and puts the ball in play, and that's all he needed to do. Put it in play on the ground. LSU scores the first run, up now 1-0 here in the bottom of the third.
Here's Freeman with Watson in scoring position. 2 outs. Ball 1. Ben, would it surprise you if I told you that LSU in SEC play has scored more runs than any team except one? That's been the case. Sometimes LSU doesn't score a lot, but overall this year in SEC play, the Tigers have scored more runs than every other team except one. Freeman flies out to center field. LSU takes the lead on a Robertson RBI. Look at the sunset here in Baton Rouge. LSU has taken the lead with a walk to Papierski, a hit-and-run single by Zach Watson, and an RBI ground out by Kramer Robertson, and Jared Poche works with the lead here in the 4th inning. Auburn the opponent tonight, a school established in 1856 as the East Alabama Male College. In 1892, it became the first co-ed school in Alabama and was renamed Alabama Polytechnic Institute. It became Auburn University in honor of the hometown in 1960. Daniel Robert, Connor Davis, and Dylan Ingram will bat here in the 4th. These teams will conclude the series tomorrow at noon. The SEC Network will be here to televise the game. Noon tomorrow, Central Time, on the SEC Network. Poche misses with the fastball. Daniel Robert fly deep to center field last time. And he hits this one hard but foul.
That's what Jared Poche is trying to do, is stay out of these counts, these predictable counts. I don't care who you are and what kind of stuff you have. It is awfully tough to have success in the SEC pitching 3-1 and 3-2 counts.
He goes back to the fastball again.
Because as a pitcher, I want to put the hitter on defense right away. And Jared Poche has 4 pitches. And Auburn knows that. So if he can get ahead with strike 1, then you start to create some kind of doubt as to what pitch is coming next. You don't know if they get the hard breaking ball, the changeup, the slow breaking ball. But man, when you get 3-1, 3-2, and you got to throw fastballs, it gets difficult.
So this is 3 consecutive fastballs now by Poche. You think he comes with a twister or off speed here on the 3-2 again?
The danger is walked. I mean, you'd like to see a guy earn his way on. You got a 1-0 lead. I'd like to see, but he went with the breaking ball and just missed. But because we know a little over 50% of leadoff walks in college baseball come around to score.
Well, just go back and look at the inning by LSU. A 1-out walk to Papierski, and he's the guy who crossed the plate.
The good news is Jared Poche, like he's done throughout his career, has been able to find a way to get ground balls. LSU's turned 2 ground ball double plays tonight. And, of course, Daniel Robert, a guy not likely to steal. He does have 9 bags on the year, but Poche, pretty good pickoff move. But you could see some type of hit-and-run action from Auburn, as did LSU last inning.
Connor Davis bounced into a Freeman, Robertson, Coombs double play last time. That's the changeup. It's high. And Papierski will go out and talk with the veteran. There's a lot of experience having a conversation right now.
No doubt.
4-year player in Poche, 3-year player in Papierski.
Jared Poche had 376 career innings when this game began today. He's making his 64th career start. The LSU all-time record is 68 by Lane Mestepe, so Poche only 4 starts away from the all-time record.
Runner moving, and Papierski can't transfer the ball cleanly into his throwing hand. A stolen base for Daniel Robert. So it's likely that Poche will have 400 innings under his belt by the end of his career.
Could very well set the record for most starts in a career, have 400 innings. And we talked about his win total. He's at 35 career victories. 38 by Scott Schultz is the record at LSU. That's what kind of consistency he has shown throughout his career. But right now, consistent is not the word when it comes to throwing strikes. Unable really to find the strike zone. Commanded the changeup and the breaking ball and the fastball has really not been there here in the 4th inning.
It's not often that he goes to a 3-0 count, but that's what he's facing with Connor Davis.
How about that? 3-0 green light. Connor Davis got a ball he liked right out over the heart of the plate and had a really good swing at it. Don't see many 3-0 green lights.
Dylan Ingram, who's 4 for 4 in the series, is on deck.
Yeah, this is danger for Jared Poche. I mean, you're going right through the heart of this very good Auburn lineup. Everybody says, well, Auburn's struggling offensively. Yeah, I mean, they've lost 5 in a row, but don't judge them last night on their offense or lack of offense, because Alex Lang would have shut out anybody last night.
So back-to-back bases on balls. Something that has been extremely rare in Poche's career, and Alan Dunn will go out to talk to the senior left-hander. LSU got a run in the 3rd inning with 1 out. Michael Papierski had a good at-bat and a patient at-bat and drew a walk. He was on the move when Zach Watson hit a line drive off of the 3rd baseman Josh Anthony. Watson wound up at first base after the hit-and-run single, and Papierski motored all the way to 3rd. And then Kramer Robertson drove in a run with an infield out. But the Auburn Tigers have 2 on in the top of the 4th, and nobody retired.
Well, if you're Auburn, it's where you have to make some noise. I mean, you got to figure out a way right now to score at least 1 run. I don't know if you're going to take your 4-hole guy and Dylan Ingram and bunt him and move runners to 2nd and 3rd and take a chance of driving in 2. Or if you let him swing away and maybe gamble, hit into a double play. But Auburn, who could not push a run home across last night against Alex Lang, a really good opportunity here in the top of the fourth.
I'm thinking Ingram will be swinging. He's 4 for 4 in the series. Ball one, just wide.
LSU fans thought that might have caught. I don't think it did, but you're right. Ingram, he's been the hot guy. I mean, he's got 25 RBIs. That leads the team with 2 outs.
He's also hit safely in 8 straight games. And a changeup floats wide, and Poche right now is having difficulty.
Yeah, you got to be careful here.
Nobody out. Poche has walked the first 2 batters.
And you're in a 2-0 count to a guy that is a plus fastball hitter. This fastball coming better be located good. If it's not located, it could go a long way. Pretty good swing by Dylan Ingram.
LSU will be on the road at Mississippi State to close out the regular season. Next weekend, it will have a home game on the 16th. That's Tuesday against Northwestern State. That will be the final non-conference game of the year. We'll have it for you right here on the SEC ESPN network on Tuesday. 3-1 now.
That's about the 4th consecutive breaking ball that Jared Poche's left up in the zone.
That is not a good sign for him.
Nope. But you want to see him make that. All pitchers, you know, if you're missing in one spot, I want to see an attempt to miss somewhere. So I want to see him bounce. Even if he misses for a strike with the next one, I like to see an adjustment. Maybe bounce one and try to get back in the middle somewhere.
Poche threw it only in the mid-80s, but he still got it by Dylan Ingram. Ingram was tardy on the swing.
Yeah, the location was perfect. Even though it was 3-1 and everybody knows fastball's coming, Jared Poche was able just to dot that outside corner. He'll have to do it again on this pitch.
3 balls, 2 strikes. We'll check the runners. Robert at second base, Davis on first. I don't think they'll be moving. They are not. And we'll do it again at 3-2. Next week, Auburn will be at home against Ole Miss. That's the 18th, 19th, and 20th of May. 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 1 o'clock. That will close out the season for Auburn. There is no midweek game next week for the Auburn Tigers. Ingram singled in the second. He's 4 for 4 in the series. 3-2 pitch. Lifted to Dykeman, who is hustling to his left. He's got it. Runner at second tags. Dykeman's throw comes back to second base. Daniel Robert moves to third with 1 out.
A really good pitch by Jared Poche. Went away to get back into it, and then came inside with a fastball to Dylan Ingram, and Ingram just could not do a lot with it. But Daniel Robert was able to tag up, move to third.
The infield is at double play depth. Josh Anthony bounced into a 5-4-3 double play back in the second inning. It was very nicely started by freshman Josh Smith at third.
Well, this is where Auburn's got to make some noise right now. I mean, you don't need a base hit to score a run. A sacrifice fly will tie this game up. And that's what they need at a minimum. Jared Poche, of course, thinking about ground ball double play. LSU's already turned 2 of them and would like nothing more to get a third one.
Runner moving from first. Papierski's throw in time. Papierski laid it right into the glove of second baseman Cole Freeman. And Connor Davis is out on a close play at second base.
How about Michael Papierski? This is a hit and run. The ball's missed at home plate by Josh Anthony, and then a dart thrown down by Michael Papierski. And boy, has he been good at that this year.
He has thrown out 41% of would-be base stealers. He has caught 20 of 48, which is a very high number. The 1-1. A strike at the knees on the outside corner.
Well, if Auburn is unable to score right here, this is going to be a giant momentum swing. Auburn again had runners on first and second and nobody out. Then had first and third with just one out. Hit and run did not work. Get a runner thrown out trying to take that extra 90 feet. All of a sudden, Jared Poche seems like he is getting back into a rhythm. That breaking ball was down.
And a breaking pitch is nipped at the plate. Papierski couldn't hold on to it, so Josh Anthony will return. That bender had a lot of depth to it.
A lot of depth, a lot of downward action to it. Good job by Anthony just getting a piece of it and staying alive. And if you're Anthony, you're just looking for a mistake. You're down 1 ball and 2 strikes. You're hoping to catch something out over the plate and drive in a run.
The inning started when Daniel Robert walked. Connor Davis walked. Dylan Ingram flied deep to right, allowing Robert to take third. Davis was thrown out trying to steal at second base, and now it's Anthony with a 2-2 count. Now it's 3-2.
Well, back-to-back fastballs missed to run the count 3-2. I gotta think he's gonna get that breaking ball. Let's see, we're gonna get 3-2.
Blake Logan is on deck. There is the bender. Freeman charging, scoops, throws, nicely done. Cole Freeman, who can make a variety of plays at second base, demonstrated yet again that it's awfully difficult to beat LSU on a ball like this.
Jared Poche, throughout his career, he has bent but never broken. And I tell you what, pitched out of a giant jam. LSU up 1-0 going to the bottom of the fourth.
No runs, 2 hits for the Auburn Tigers. 1 run, 1 hit for LSU. We move to the bottom of the fourth inning in the gloaming here in Baton Rouge. Keegan Thompson has walked a batter, only 1, but it cost him. Antoine Duplantis leads it off for the Tigers. Strike 1. He fouled out to the third baseman Anthony in the first.
It's a tough night for the hitters tonight because both of these pitchers really mix their pitches well. You really don't know what's coming. Both of them will pitch backwards in the count, meaning they'll sometimes throw something other than a fastball in a fastball count. That's when it gets difficult.
Duplantis is called out looking. That's the first strikeout for Keegan Thompson.
How about this big overhand breaking ball? How about the depth on that thing? That, my friends, will hurt your feelings. I mean, Antoine Duplantis saw that up in the zone the whole time, and boy, the last 4 or 5 feet, down it came.
And he's not a guy who strikes out very often. That's only 17 for him. Here's Dykeman. He gave it a ride deep to center last time, but it was tracked down by Jonah Todd near the warning track. Strike 1.
All of a sudden, the big overhand breaking ball starting to come for Keegan Thompson. We saw the more tighter, sharper breaking ball, the slider, the first inning or two. Now he's throwing the overhand breaking ball, one that has more depth to it.
Strike 2.
Both on breaking balls, both on the outside corner. One of the best sequences in baseball is slow, slow, fast. And there's been 2 slow pitches in a row, 2 breaking balls. Let's see if he tries to throw a fastball right by him. He did, missed.
Back to the big bender, and a 3rd strike called against Greg Dykman. So back-to-back hooks freeze Duplantis and Dykman.
Big time curveball. That's a big league breaking ball, no doubt about it. I thought the 2nd strike might have been off the outside corner, but that one just splits the heart of the plate. Keegan Thompson is locked in.
Here's Coombs. He lifts this one down the line and right. Daniel Robert crosses over into foul ground and makes a running catch, it appears. He got it as he crashed into the wall. Nicely done by Daniel Robert, running into that corner in foul ground behind the bullpen mound. This is the 3rd out, and the Tigers go quickly in the 4th. It's 1-0 LSU. Stadium lit up across the street, just across Nicholson Drive here, as LSU is protecting a 1-run lead. There were 12 members of the LSU baseball team who graduated in a special ceremony. There you see Jared Poche as one of them, that SEC and then graduate patch adorned to the players. Outfielder Bryce Adams, pitcher Alden Cartwright, second baseman Cole Freeman, pitcher Hunter Newman, pitcher Jared Poche, pitcher Russell Reynolds, pitcher Colin Strahl, undergraduate assistant coach and former first baseman Sean Ochinko, former pitcher John Valek, equipment manager Brian Curry, equipment manager Jimmy Jordan, and trainer Joshua Paul, all graduated in special ceremony today for the LSU Tigers.
Good for them. I also saw in a note that this year's team highest GPA in school history for the baseball team.
Coombs holds on at first base to take an errant throw from Kramer Robertson. So Blake Logan is retired, and Nick Coombs, who was spiked last night, was able to hold on to the bag with the toenail there.
That was a really nice job by Nick Coombs. Got to remember, Nick Coombs is a catcher. Comes to LSU as a catcher, put over at first base because the bat has been producing. And watch the lean right there. And boy, that is close. That is close. If he had anything on it, it might have been a toenail at best.
Dykman is retreating, and he's there. And Jeremy Johnson is quickly retired. Both of these pitchers have had some very efficient quick innings. The top of the inning, or rather the bottom of the inning for Keegan Thompson, was an 8-pitch inning. He had a 6-pitch inning earlier. Thompson has thrown only 40 pitches, 24 of them for strikes.
Yeah,
and
40
Poche,
pitches through 4 innings. That's pretty good.
Poche very efficient as well, with one exception, and that was the 4th inning, but he was able to wiggle out of trouble after walking the first 2 batters. Poche has had 1 strikeout tonight, and it came against Jay Estes, who's at the plate right now.
That's kind of been Jared Poche throughout his career. Can cruise along, can get in some trouble, but really figures out a way most of the time to get out of it.
Well, you'll recall in his last weekend start,
yeah,
he had a very shaky inning and then righted the ship.
And Keegan Thompson has been better than advertised.
Auburn, though, must by now be feeling somewhat of a sense of frustration because they've gone 13 consecutive innings without scoring in this series.
Yeah, and offense was a problem for them against Alabama last weekend, the reason why they got swept.
Watson will have to let that one drop in front of him. A line drive single to center by Estes.
Auburn left 41 on base during that Alabama series. Pretty good job of hitting by Estes right there. He goes down and gets a breaking ball, but
he's got 56 base hits, and that's second on the team.
Oh, yeah, this Auburn club comes in batting .282. That's 5th best in the SEC.
LSU at, what, 270 right now?
LSU's hitting 265. I'm sorry, LSU is hitting in SEC play 270, and LSU's hitting 290 overall. You know, when you count the midweek games, start mixing those in, that's 2nd best. But that's, you know, when you talk about LSU's hitting, you got to go back to the conference play. Last year, LSU hit 305 in SEC play only last year. Well, only hitting 270 in conference play. So they're off about 35 points in conference play. That's kind of where the inconsistency has been for LSU.
And that's with essentially the same starting lineup.
That's, you know, the unusual thing about it is LSU had a young team, you know, last year. They bring back 7 everyday starters, and you thought, well, you would hope the offense would be very similar. And it has at times, just not quite as consistent as they were last year.
Holland flied out to Watson last time. 2 outs, a runner at first. Auburn is batting in the 5th. LSU leads 1-0. The LSU softball team was to have played Auburn in Knoxville today in the semifinal round of the Southeastern Conference Championship Tournament, but it was rained out, and so they will do battle tomorrow. In fact, the semifinals and the final will be played tomorrow. Ole Miss and Alabama are in the other semifinal game. I believe they got that one started today, but then the rain came and nothing was able to be completed today. But LSU will play Auburn tomorrow in softball. And then if the Tigers of LSU survive that one, they will play the winner of the Ole Miss-Alabama game for the championship. This is hit high and deep to left center field. Duplantis and Watson are there. It's Duplantis who crosses over and makes the play. A 10-pitch inning for Jared Poche, including a single by Estes. And we move on to the bottom of the 5th. 1-0 LSU. There's part of the LSU crowd here tonight on this Friday night, middle game of the series between the LSU Tigers and the Auburn Tigers. LSU has had wonderful success against Auburn in the last 14 games. They've won 12 of them. Keegan Thompson has been very, very good, but LSU scratched for a single marker in the 3rd inning, and that's where we stand in the bottom of the 5th. Auburn, of course, has a tiger for a mascot, but it's an anthropomorphic tiger named Aubie. And I'm told it's one of the mascot, it is the mascot of the year. How many mascots of the year, and it's inducted into the College Hall of Fame? How can you have a College Hall of Fame for mascots? It's not even a real tiger. By the way, LSU is scheduled this summer to get a tiger cub, probably in August or so. The vetting process is going on right now. Josh Smith hits this one very deep to center field, but it's tracked down by Jonah Todd. So, Ben, the tiger habitat is undergoing additional renovation to bring it up to every code known to man for the housing of tigers. That's going on this summer. And then a very fortunate young tiger cub is going to become the next LSU mascot, probably in August or so.
That's exciting. And that's a cool place over there.
It really is. Here's Bo Jordan.
Keegan Thompson just continues to pour in strikes, only averaging 10 pitches per inning. LSU been swinging a lot of first pitch fastballs. Because I think off of him, that's the pitch you want to hit. I think it's the most hittable pitch because we saw the breaking ball really come to life last inning, the overhand breaking ball. Watch this tight slider here. Bottom just falls out of it. So normally when you guys got great secondary stuff, you want to try to hit the first fastball. You see the problem for LSU is those fastballs have been located almost perfectly.
Bo Jordan stays alive on the 0-2 pitch. He grounded out to second base last time. Thompson had a perfect first inning, a perfect second inning, a perfect third inning. Or I beg your pardon, a perfect fourth inning. The third inning was the one in which he had difficulty when he walked Papierski, Watson followed with a base hit, and Robertson drove in a run with an infield out. Since then, he's retired since the base hit by Watson, which is the only hit LSU has had. He has retired 6 in a row. That's off the mark wide. Thank you for the coffee, by the way.
You're welcome.
The 1-2 pitch. If you've never been to a ball game at Auburn, I highly recommend it. It's an unusual ballpark. It's not even half the capacity of Alex Box Stadium, but the layout of the ballpark is low and lean and long. A lot of chairback seats all the way down the foul lines. Great sight lines, and that anything but symmetrical outfield fence with the very high left field wall and all kind of angles in the outfield. It's a great place to watch a college baseball game. One-two pitch to Bo Jordan. Jordan throughout his career has been pretty good in fighting off behind in the count pitches and especially two-strike pitches.
Well, he's made a good adjustment as of late, starting to use more of the right field, right center field when he's gotten behind. You see him kind of going with those fastballs off the outside corner.
So he continues to spoil pitches.
And that's all you can do off somebody like Keegan Thompson, is just continue to try to foul off pitches, try to stay alive, and just hope he makes a mistake out over the plate. And if he does, that's the one you got to put a barrel on.
Jordan is hitting .261 against SEC pitching this year.
Yeah, Bo had a rough April, didn't swing it that well in April, but May has been much better for him.
That's a fair ball, and Bo Jordan battles his way on. Josh Anthony at third base tried to charge it. It came up into his chest, and then it dribbled away, and Bo Jordan, after a very determined at-bat, reaches first base.
These are the kind of at-bats that win you ball games, and Bo Jordan just flat-out battled Keegan Thompson. Tough chance over at third base by Anthony. I'm not sure if he feels it clean, he gets a chance to throw out Bo Jordan.
It's an infield hit for Bo Jordan. It's the second hit of the game for the Tigers, and it brings on Papierski.
9-pitch at bat by Bo Jordan. He comes out on top.
One on, one out. Papierski walked, and he has scored the game's only run. One ball, one strike.
Back-to-back changeups. Keegan Thompson not giving in. He missed with the first changeup to go ball one. It comes right back with it and just dots the outside corner.
Jordan takes a short lead from first base with one out. He's on the move. And he hustles into second. That ball got into the dirt, and Bo Jordan said, "That's enough for me. I'm going to try it."
One thing the LSU Tigers have done really well the last 3 years is take the extra 90 feet. Bo Jordan read this ball down. He knew it was going to bounce coming out of the pitcher's hand, and when he saw it bounce, he never hesitated and took off.
So it's a wild pitch, although almost controlled by Blake Logan, the catcher, but Bo Jordan alertly moves to scoring position for Papierski. Papierski takes the strike. Two and two. Zach Watson is on deck. That is strikeout number 3 for Keegan Thompson. They've all come in the last couple of innings.
Yeah, and it's been the breaking ball. That's what's really making the difference. You see the bottom just fall out of that one.
So now Zach Watson has an RBI opportunity with 2 outs. Base hits have been very hard to find for both teams tonight. Auburn has 3, LSU has 2. LSU has the only run. Watson takes a strike.
These are the situations that games are won for offensive clubs. 2 outs, runners in scoring position, being able to come up with a big base hit. Both of these teams have struggled with that at times.
Watson hits one high and deep. You can pucker up and kiss that baby goodbye. Zach Watson provides a bit of margin now for LSU with a high, deep drive into the left center field bleachers. It's his 3rd home run of the year.
Off a guy like Keegan Thompson, you hope he makes a mistake. This is one of the few mistakes by Keegan Thompson all game long. He hangs a breaking ball thigh high right over middle of the plate, and the freshman didn't miss it.
That one hit the scoreboard on the fly. And on that swing, LSU takes a 3-0 lead. Here's Kramer Robertson, who twice has grounded out to the second baseman. He drove in a run in the 3rd inning. Robertson lays off. It's 2-0. Zach Watson is surprisingly strong.
He is. The ball just comes off his bat. Some guys, the balls just bounce off his bat. And while he's not a big guy, there's some pop in it.
Blake Logan is waiting for this one to come back to him, and he plays it nicely for the out and foul ground. So Robertson fouls out, but this big swing by Zach Watson results in a 2-run home run off the scoreboard. And LSU takes a 3-0 lead on the SEC ESPN network. Defense has been very good tonight for LSU. This is the best defensive team in the Southeastern Conference, one of the very best in the country. We're seeing it on display again here tonight, Ben.
Well, it's been the most consistent thing for LSU all year long. And when you can play defense and pitch a little bit, you can be in every ball game. There's Cole Freeman with an outstanding play. The infield for LSU, just outstanding to this point.
LSU came into tonight leading the SEC in fielding percentage and 5th in the country. One run in the 3rd for the Tigers on a Robertson ground out for the RBI, and a 2-run home run by Zach Watson in the bottom of the 5th. Back to the top of the order we go for Jonah Todd. Todd is 1 for 2. He singled in the first. He lined out to left field in the third.
This is when it starts to get more difficult for the starting pitcher for each club. Each time you go through the lineup once, this is going to be the third time through the lineup for the Auburn Tigers. They've seen pretty much everything Jared Poche has, and now it's going to get even tougher.
And this is a hot hitter. Jonah Todd had a 16-game hitting streak, snapped in a midweek game last week at UAB. But he's had a hit tonight. And he had a hit last night. So this young man has hit in 18 of his last 19 games.
Yeah, and hitting 44 of his last 52 games, too. I mean, of course, that's why he's the number 2 hitter in the whole Southeastern Conference. And it's nice to have a guy like that at the top of your lineup because he gets on base nearly half the time as well.
He's a junior. He came into this game hitting .380. And the only 300 hitter in the Auburn lineup. Can Freeman do it again? Safe at first base, but that was a spectacular play by Freeman. That almost defied description how quickly he got to that ball and then got rid of it.
Yeah, because Jonah Todd can really get down the line, especially from the left side. But watch the hand quickness right there by Cole Freeman. Boy, Coombs keeps it in front. That ball could have got by. Good effort all the way around.
But the leadoff man aboard in Jonah Todd, his third hit of the series. This brings on Daniel Robert, who has flied to center and walked. That's off of Smith's glove, and it rolls in foul territory. The runners go halfway and then retreat. Daniel Robert slices one the other way and singles off of Josh Smith.
Nice piece of hitting by Robert. See him go with this ball, just slice it just out of reach of Josh Smith. Hits off his glove, and I thought for a second that Todd was going to try to go all the way to third base.
Josh Smith came up a little gimpy after that play. Ben, this gives us an opportunity, and I know you know these names, played with them, against them. Bo Jackson, Major League All-Star with the Royals, an Auburn graduate. Frank Thomas, the Big Hurt, 18-year career, 5-time All-Star. And Greg Olson, the first reliever to win an American League Rookie of the Year honor. Just 3 of the greatest Auburn baseball players in the major leagues.
Bo Jackson was special. Everybody knows that. If you didn't see Bo Jackson play, you missed out. Frank Thomas, the Hall of Famer. You mentioned Greg Olson. Tim Hudson would come along later on, had an outstanding career in the big leagues as a pitcher.
Right now, the Auburn Tigers have the tying run at the plate. Nobody out. Runners at first and second. Poche was able to work out of a similar situation in the fourth when he walked the first 2 batters. And LSU is going to get its bullpen ready here in the 6th.
Well, 4 out of 6 innings now. Auburn has put the leadoff guy on and yet to score.
Zach Hess has just started to warm up for LSU. In fact, he's throwing in front of the bullpen. Bullpen mound.
And that's what good teams do to you. You may get them the first time through, and second time they'll have some good swings, but the third time through, you better be extra sharp because they've seen the breaking ball. They've seen the changeup.
3 of the last 4 batters have base hits for Auburn. Poche delivers the 1-strike pitch. Five hits for Auburn, but no runs. 3 hits for LSU and 3 runs. Jonah Todd and Daniel Robert are aboard. Nobody out. The wind has decelerated, not blowing nearly as much as it was from left to right. That good changeup drops in for a strike. Those flags almost limp right now. Watch this off-speed pitch.
Connor Davis just couldn't pull the trigger on that one. Now Poche, a lot of options here. 1 ball and 2 strikes. He would love to get a ground ball double play or a strikeout in this situation. Got to think he's going maybe to the breaking ball. Something down is where you want to be, breaking ball, but it's got to be down.
Dylan Ingram, a dangerous hitter, is on deck. Smith can't pick it up. Goes to second for the out. That ball looked like it might start a double play, but Josh Smith bobbled it for a moment. He still was able to get an out at second base.
Yeah, ball hit right there, and the ball kind of comes up right to the heel. Josh Smith stayed with it and is able to get the force out at second base. But you see the frustration on his face. He knows that should have been a ground ball double play.
Instead, Auburn has runners at first and third with 1 out.
Not counted as an error because you can't assume a double play, but
that ball came up on him, looked like it bounced off the heel of his glove. The middle infielders are looking for a pair of outs. Smith is back at third. Dykeman drifting. He's got a fine arm from right field. Here comes the throw. Papierski runs up and cuts it off essentially. And Auburn is on the scoreboard on a Dylan Ingram sacrifice fly to right field. So Auburn scores its first run of the series.
Yeah, really tough chance for Greg Dykeman. I don't think because of the way he's drifting toward the line, he really couldn't get behind this ball and get his momentum going. Therefore, there was no chance of really throwing out somebody that runs well like Todd does. Ball should have been a little bit lower. You hit the cutoff guy. Now all of a sudden, there's another run sitting in scoring position because of the high throw towards home plate.
That was Connor Davis, who alertly took second base when he saw the angle of Dykeman's throw. This brings on Josh Anthony. He has bounced into a double play and was thrown out on an exceptionally good pickup and throw by Freeman last time. 3-1 LSU. Auburn goes 15 innings before it finds its first run against LSU pitching. But the tying run is at the plate in game 2 of the series. Hess continues to get ready in the bullpen. Davis at second base. 2 strikes on Josh Anthony. He starts with a very open stance and then closes it at the delivery. Poche jumps off the mound. He's got it, makes the turn and throw, and Anthony is retired. So after 2 singles get things started, Auburn scratches for a run, and we go to the bottom of the 6th. It's LSU 3, Auburn 1. It's Southeastern Conference baseball at its best. Friday night in Baton Rouge, the Auburn Tigers and the LSU Tigers. LSU's defense has been splendid. Jared Poche has a 2-run lead. And Zach Watson has bombed a 2-run home run, and that's where we play in the bottom of the 6th inning. 3-1 LSU in the middle game of this series after winning last night 4-0. Ben McDonald, Lynn Rollins with you. Glad you're with us tonight. All over the world, whatever device may get you to SEC baseball here in Baton Rouge. Cole Freeman is promptly hit by a pitch from Keegan Thompson.
Keegan Thompson just trying to come inside with that two-seam fastball that he's used a lot tonight. That one runs a little bit off the plate, and certainly not the guy you want to put on base.
It's the first time Cole has been there tonight. And it brings out Duplantis, who has fouled out and struck out looking.
Well, a lot of options for Paul Mainieri and LSU because Duplantis is a great hit and run guy, puts the ball in play. Of course, Cole Freeman can steal a bag by himself as well, so perfect scenario for LSU to get that one run back. Keegan Thompson going to have to be awfully good now.
There is nobody warming up for Auburn.
Well, a lot left in the tank for Keegan Thompson. He's only at 61 pitches.
That is very economical.
Thompson with a lot left.
Ball one to Antoine Duplantis, who came into this game with a 4-game hitting streak. Auburn, like LSU, like all Southeastern Conference universities, has a long list of notable alumni, including Tim Cook, CEO of Apple Corporation, Jimmy Wales, the co-founder of Wikipedia, Octavia Spencer won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress in The Help. Freeman is moving. The throw is to the first base side. It's a stolen base. And watch Blake Logan, the catcher. He actually ran around Duplantis to throw this ball. Watch where he has to go around.
Yeah, the ball took him to the inside corner of the plate. Breaking ball kind of breaking that way, so he just kind of went with it and stepped around. With a lower throw, it would have been much closer. Now LSU would not be surprised to see Antoine Duplantis put the bunt down.
Freeman with 12 stolen bases. Duplantis hits the liner right back from whence it came, and it's snared by Thompson.
Keegan Thompson, outstanding athlete. Watch this ball right back at him. That's why it's so important when you finish as a pitcher that you got your glove out in front of you and tucked in. The pitchers that wrap that glove around the backside of them, they don't have time to get the glove back up.
Taylor Hicks is an Auburn graduate. He won season 5 of American Idol. Jimmy Buffett, singer-songwriter, of course, Margaritaville. I like one of his famous quotes. He says, "Indecision may or may not be my problem." Tony Tennille, half of the Captain and Tennille group, was an Auburn graduate. Lionel Richie, I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
Will Muschamp, former LSU coach, South Carolina head coach. All right, I'm done.
It's good stuff.
Thank you. Still not as good as the 10-year-old college graduate, though.
No, that still got me. I mean, I am just hurt about that. Lots of off-speed pitches from Keegan Thompson to Greg Dykman. Of course, Dykman, the number 2 home run hitter in the SEC. He's been breaking ball and changeup to run the count 1-1. Let's see what he gets in a 1-1 count.
Three to 1, LSU is leading. Dykman struck out looking on a big curveball in the 4th, and he flied deep to center field in the 2nd. 2 balls and a strike. These are the types of battles that you come out to the ball yard to see. One of the best pitchers in the league, one of the best hitters in the league.
No doubt. But remember, first base is open. I don't look for Keegan Thompson to give in. Fastball count, 2-1 count. You think you're going to get a fastball, but Keegan Thompson known for pitching backwards, throwing something other than a fastball in a fastball count. Let's see what he gets. Yep, change up.
Thompson's going to have to cover, and he does so in plenty of time. Ingram and Thompson combined for the out at first base. Dykeman rolls out 3-1. Freeman moves to third with 2 outs.
And that right there is the reason why Keegan Thompson is one of the best pitchers in the SEC.
Here's Nick Coombs. He's 0 for 2. Nick is the third leading LSU Tiger against SEC pitching with a .298 average. Coombs has been swinging early in the count, but not that time. He took a little bender for a strike. Coombs has popped up to the first baseman and fouled out to the right fielder. That's close, but off the mark. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, a runner at third. Auburn in the 7th will have Logan, Johnson, and Estes. 6, 7, and 8 in the order. A chop to Holland. He's got plenty of time. He throws it in the dirt, but Ingram plucks it on the backhand side. And so Freeman is left at third base. The Tigers of LSU lead the Tigers of Auburn 3-1 with the 7th inning straight ahead. There's a beautiful evening shot of the Memorial Tower in the middle of the LSU campus. The bugs are buzzing, and so is this big crowd. A tight ball game tonight. Middle game of the 3-game series. LSU 3, Auburn 1. Jared Poche is leading by a pair as we get the 7th started. Poche has allowed 5 hits and a run. He has walked 3 and struck out 1. A strike to Blake Logan, who has walked and grounded to short. Watson will be tested again. The freshman backs up quickly, and he's there. Here's Jeremy Johnson, the left fielder. Josh Smith made a terrific play on a ground ball in the 2nd to throw him out, and he flied to right. In his only other at bat, he's 0 for 2. Zach Hess continues to stay loose in the bullpen if needed. 1 out here in the 7th. These clubs will do it again tomorrow at noon. It will wrap up the series. The SEC Network will bring it to you. Noon Central Time from Baton Rouge tomorrow. The final game of the series. Freeman takes the high hop. 2 outs.
All of a sudden, Jared Poche is just spot on again. Fastball getting ahead, down in the zone, mixing his breaking ball in. That's kind of how he's been throughout his career. He rolls along, gets in a little bit of trouble. He bends a little bit, but doesn't break. Then he can get right back into it again.
$10,431 tickets were sold for this game. A pleasant Friday evening in Baton Rouge. 2-0 from Poche to Estes, who is 1 for 2. Poche struck him out in the 3rd. In fact, that's the only strikeout for Poche tonight. Estes had a base hit in the 5th. Three and 0.
There are only 4 strikeouts in the entire game Both Keegan Thompson and Jared Poche not getting a lot of outs by strikeout.
This is the third time Poche has gone to 3-0 tonight. That was his 100th pitch.
This is where you just got to throw it down the middle and say, hit it as far as you can. Don't want to bring the tie-in run to the plate by walking a guy.
Will Holland, the shortstop, is on deck, 2 outs. Jared Poche's father is a family medicine doctor. He's got a deep history in his family of doctors. This will be up on the roof again. I asked Poche earlier in the season if he wanted to be a doctor. He said, well, wants and capability are two different things. He said that you got to study too much for me.
I think he graduated in kinesiology, if I'm not mistaken. Got his degree today, as you mentioned, along with a lot of other Tigers.
The 3-2 pitch. Poked into right field. I thought for a moment Dykman was going to come up throwing. And Estes, aware that Dykman has thrown out a runner from right field at first base, was hustling down the line. So the second baseman is 2 for 3 tonight.
Yeah, Estes with a really good battle against Jared Poche.
Yeah, this may be the end of the evening with Palmineri making the signal for Zach Hess. So Jared Poche leaves in the 7th. He'll get a fine round of applause here. In fact, a standing ovation for Poche as this senior walks to the LSU dugout with a 3-1 lead.
And what will be his final career regular season start just comes off the mound.
Back in a moment with Zach Hess. Zach Hess is making his 18th appearance. He's won 5 of 6 decisions as a starter and a reliever. A 3.43 ERA, 20 walks allowed in 42 innings. He has struck out 52. Hess on the season has only allowed 28 base hits in 42 innings. And he is on here in relief of Jared Poche.
Yeah, Hess started the year as the midweek starter for LSU, but because of some needs in the back end of that LSU bullpen, he got moved out and upgraded to the back end of that bullpen. Been kind of closing a little bit, but mostly setting up for the closer, Hunter Newman. The stuff is big time. Fastball's up to 95. He'll pitch from 90 to 95 with a big overhand breaking ball.
Let's check some SEC scores while Hess completes his warm-up throws. Mississippi State today beat Georgia 9-3. Brent Rooker hit a 3-run home run, his 20th of the year. Kentucky is winning over Tennessee 15-4 in the 9th inning. That's in Lexington. Florida came back to beat Alabama 2-1. Alabama held a 1-0 lead in the 6th inning, but Florida scores late and holds off the Crimson Tide. 2-1 the Gators win. Vanderbilt and Arkansas are 3-3 in the 8th inning in Fayetteville. South Carolina leads Missouri 4-2 in the 8th inning. And in the 7th inning, Texas A&M has a 9-4 lead over Ole Miss. So Eastern Division leading Florida has a win and goes to 17-8 in the league. And Mississippi State, which leads the West, has a win as well. It's also 17-8. The Tigers are trying to keep pace and remain 1 game behind in the loss column. LSU 3, Auburn 1. Zach Hess, big guy, throws hard. with a mind-bending curveball. A chop to the third baseman, and it's thrown away by Josh Smith. He came up short. Here comes the second Auburn run. The throw goes to third base, a collision there, and the ball is loose momentarily. Well, LSU, which has played spectacular defense tonight, couldn't get a routine out on a ground ball to third.
You're right. The defense been so good. Just a routine one hopper to Josh Smith. Does everything right except throws the ball low. Coombs cannot catch up to it. Estes comes all the way around from first base to score. And Will Holland ends up over at third base. Now Auburn has the tying run just 90 feet away.
And things can change in a heartbeat, can't they? A three-base throwing error by Josh Smith, who had all day to crank it over but steered it into the dirt in front of Coombs, and Coombs was unable to keep it around the area. And all of a sudden Auburn trails only by one with a very hot hitter at the plate. Jonah Todd has hit safely in 18 of his last 19 games, and he's got 2 hits tonight, 3 in the series.
Auburn left on 41 base runners in that 3-game series. They were swept last weekend at home against Alabama. Just could not come up with some big base hits. They've been really good with runners in scoring position all year long, hitting well over 300 and struggled, but they're 1 base hit away from being right back in this thing.
And there it is. Jonah Todd slaps one sharply to the left side, and we've got a brand new ball game. The Auburn Tigers have rallied with 2 outs and nobody on base to get a couple of unearned runs.
And that's the reason why. Right there is what's plagued Auburn the last 5 games. Remember, they've dropped their last 5 games. Just unable to get some big base hits, but that's a giant one right there.
So Jared Poche will not figure in the decision either way tonight. Here's Daniel Robert. Poche left with 2 outs and a runner at first and a 3-1 lead. Josh Smith threw a ball away from third base. Jonah Todd followed with an RBI single. And we've got a 3-3 game.
Keep an eye on Jonah Todd over at first base. It's likely not to stay very long. Zach Hess takes a little time to unwind with that big frame.
All of this started with 2 outs and nobody on base. Todd has stolen 8 bases. He's been caught 3 times. Papierski has thrown out a base runner tonight. The entire outlook of this game changed in a hurry. A single, a 3-base error, and an RBI single by Jonah Todd. There goes the runner. Papierski can't make the pickup. That's twice he's had trouble reaching into the glove to grab the ball to make a throw.
Yeah, just a breaking ball down. It kind of short hopped him. And go back to Jay Estes at bat. That was the at bat that turned it around. Poche quickly got Logan. Gets Johnson very quick, and Estes has a long battle with him and gets that base hit with 2 out to right field. And that's all it took.
And now Auburn has the go-ahead runner in scoring position. Hess misses wide. 3-0, and Paul Maneri right now is looking for some fresh Pepto-Bismol.
Well, you got a bag over at first base. And Daniel Roberts been really good all year long for Auburn, so not giving in this situation. You could see Michael Papierski was clearly way right on the outside corner, or even off the outside corner on a 2-0 count.
He's hitting .367 this year with runners in scoring position. He's got a 3-0 count.
Yeah, it looked like LSU no intentions of pitching to him. Clearly on a 3-0 count, Michael Papierski was off the outside corner.
Two outs, 2 on, 2 in. Here's Connor Davis. He has hit into a double play. He has walked and he has reached on a fielder's choice. He's 0 for 2. Papierski keeps that in play. 1 ball. In the bottom of the inning, it'll be Smith, Jordan, and Papierski for the LSU Tigers. Auburn 3, LSU 3. After LSU led 3-0. 2 unearned runs here in the 7th. Freeman scrambles after it and gets his man at first base. But a 2-out rally for the Auburn Tigers as Jay Estes scores and Will Holland scores on an RBI single by Jonah Todd and an error. And all of a sudden we are brand new. Auburn 3, LSU 3. Welcome back, everyone. Auburn has rallied with a run in the 6th and 2 unearned runs in the 7th. And we've got a 3-3 ball game. That's hanging in the Auburn dugout. It obviously something there for the gree-gree.
Yeah.
Some kind of gargoyle. See if the Tigers of LSU can retake the lead. Len Rollins, Ben McDonald with you. Ben, while we've got a moment here, congratulations, hearty congratulations on your being chosen as LSU's representative this year as an SEC legend.
Yeah,
with a
that.
special commemoration at the upcoming SEC baseball tournament in Hoover.
Always fun for me to represent SEC baseball, and of course LSU. I'm looking forward to Hoover. The SEC tournament will be a lot of fun, a lot of good teams. As usual, lots going to be decided in Hoover this year.
You'll be in good company with some of the best players from each school.
Dave Silvestri's going in from Missouri. Actually played an Olympic teammate of mine back in 1988. He was our shortstop.
2-2 pitch. Upstairs to Josh Smith. Josh is grounded out to the second baseman and flied out to center field. If he gets a hit, his streak will be 4 games. He's aboard. Keegan Thompson has only walked 2 tonight. The other one he walked was Papierski, and Michael scored in the 3rd inning.
Not what Keegan Thompson wanted to do. His team battled back, tied this thing up. He wanted to go out and put up a 0. And he still might, but walking the leadoff guy, again, over 50% of leadoff walk score. Got to think Bo George's probably going to be sacrificing in this situation, trying to get a bunt down, trying to move the go-ahead run into scoring position.
He has an infield hit and a ground out. Smith is running. Jordan is swinging.
This is exactly what LSU likes to do to opposing defenses. A lot of hit and runs, bunts, putting guys in motion, stealing bases, putting constant pressure on defenses.
LSU has been out hit 7-3 tonight. We are tied at 3. That time Jordan looked as though he might want to bunt, but he let it pass high. Kramer Robertson had a third inning ground out for an RBI. And Zach Watson smacked a deep home run with a man aboard in the 5th inning. Cole Lipscomb is warming up for Auburn.
Yeah, Cole Lipscomb's pretty much the back-end guy for Auburn. I mean, they've really not had a true closer all year long. Lipscomb's got some saves. Calvin Coker has some saves. Corey Herndon has some saves for them.
This is a very big ball game for both Tiger teams. Florida has already won. Mississippi State has already won. Those are the co-leaders of the SEC. Bo Jordan looked like he actually went down to one knee to bunt that thing.
Yeah. Just a good pitch by Keegan Thompson, a veteran guy that understands. 1-1 count. He elevated a fastball and kind of got it up and in on Bo Jordan, trying to get a pop-up. Well, he got the pop-up, unfortunately for Auburn. Bo Jordan didn't get quite enough of it to leave it in the field to play. That's good pitching. Now you got to think the bunt's off, and Bo Jordan's going to be up swinging.
One ball, two strikes. The battle continues between Thompson and Jordan.
I think you're going to see that breaking ball at some time. There it is. You only get so many chances off Keegan Thompson. He'll show you that fastball, and Bo Jordan had a pretty good pitch to hit the pitch before that one, but once you miss that one, you're going to get this one when he gets ahead in the count, and nobody hits that one.
It's the first out of the inning. It's the 4th strikeout for Thompson. And it brings on Papierski, who has walked and fanned. Smith has stretched his lead slightly, and he draws a throw.
Michael Papierski, a 16th round draft pick out of high school 3 years ago by the Blue Jays. 6'4" catcher. Don't see many 6'4" catchers.
Papierski is hitting 188 this year against right-handed pitching. But he has been a bright spot offensively for LSU the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and the batting average is not great overall, but the on-base percentage, because he does have a good eye and he walks, he does get on base. On-base percentage up near 400 for Michael Papierski.
And that's what it's about. Papierski hits one high and deep to right field. It is 3 rows up into the bleachers. You can pucker up and kiss that baby goodbye. Michael Papierski, for the 5th time this year, runs one out of the ballpark. And LSU on that swing, a 2-run homer, takes a 5-3 lead.
Papierski's not fired up. Nobody knows that he's hitting 230 now. The only thing they can think of, you know what? Michael Papierski just hit a 2-run home run and puts LSU back on top here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Got a fastball out over the plate again. Keegan Thompson has not made many mistakes. He hung a breaking ball to Zach Watson. Zach Watson gets him for a 2-run homer, and that young man is fired up, gets a fastball, middle of the plate, thigh high, and puts it 3 rows deep.
3 of his home runs this year have been against right-handed pitchers. LSU has been limited to 4 hits tonight, but 2 of them have been 2-run homers. And here's the guy with the other one, Zach Watson. Watson has singled, and let's look at his long home run back in the 5th inning.
Yep, see that breaking ball just hanging up there. That's what we talked about LSU, needing some depth throughout that lineup and some production down at the bottom of that lineup, and they've certainly got it tonight. Zach Watson hitting the 9 holes, 2 for 2 with that 2-run home run, and now Michael Papierski with the home run.
Holland picks it up with his bare hand and is very late with the throw. Zach Watson is 3 for 3 at the bottom of the order.
Another breaking ball, just a blooper, a good pitch, but once it got over Keegan Thompson's head, Zach Watson runs too good.
Ben, I want to go back and re-emphasize a point you made tonight on a couple of occasions. Papierski walked in the 3rd with 1 out. He scored. Smith walked in the 7th to lead it off. He scored. Those are the only 2 walks in this game.
Right. And they scored. I mean, that's why you just, in college baseball, you just can't walk guys. They just seem to always come around and score. And Keegan Thompson's been outstanding all year long. Only 11 walks for him the entire season coming in.
Elliot Anderson, the left-hander, is warming up for Auburn. LSU has responded, matching the 2 in the top of the inning on a Michael Papierski 2-run home run. Perry Costello breaks up the conversation. Jeffrey Macias is the first base umpire. Mark Chapman is at second base. Jeff Head is working 3rd. Don't forget, these teams wrap it up tomorrow at noon Central Time. It's available to you on the SEC Network. Kramer Robertson looking for his first base hit. He's 0 for 3 with an RBI. Pitch out. Watson holding on.
Yeah, you got to think with Zach Watson's speed, he's not going to be at first base very long. Could see some hit and run action. Kramer Robertson pretty good putting the ball in play. That's what scored LSU's very first run of the night. Kramer Robertson on a hit and run, drove in a run from 3rd base.
Two and 0. Three runs, 7 hits for Auburn. 5 runs, 5 hits for LSU. 2 of the 5 have been 2-run homers. 1 by Papierski, 1 by Watson. There goes the runner, and a foul ball off of the catcher. A 2-0 pitch is a good pitch to be running on. You figure you're going to get a strike. Watson with a moderate lead. Going again. Safe everywhere. Watson stopped. I was a little bit surprised that he did stop in the base path, but he eluded the tag by Estes, and he forced Estes into taking some time, and then the play at first base was not in time as well.
Yeah, Zach Watson slowed down just enough to kind of get in front of Estes. And Estes tried to get him on a tag, couldn't get him, and Kramer Robertson out of the box really quick and just beats it out.
Now they're going to give him a base hit on that. Watson is at second base, Robertson at first. Here's Freeman, who's 0 for 2. Watson has strayed. He's in a pickle. Robertson moves up to second. And Watson finally, after reversing course 3 or 4 times, is tagged out at third.
Yeah, Zach Watson read that ball down in the dirt, thought it was going to kick away from the catcher, Logan. Watch the pick by Logan, a backhand pick, just an outstanding pick, and now Watson's hung out. But give Watson a lot of credit. He stays in this pickle, in this rundown long enough to where Kramer Robertson can advance from first base and get into scoring position at second base.
So that'll be out stealing after all of the back and forth by Watson. 2-6, 5-6 on the putout. Robertson wisely moved up to the next base. So he's in scoring position. And Freeman drives one deep to center field, but it is tracked down on the run by Jonah Todd. LSU has regained the lead on this swing by Michael Papirski. He drives it into the right field bleachers. And the Tigers have a 5-3 advantage going to the 8th. Ben, we're at the point of the season where the RPI starts to be pretty much a daily topic of conversation. These are the teams in the Southeastern Conference ranked 4th through 25th. In the ratings percentage index, you see Florida at 4, Kentucky at 8, LSU at 12, followed by Mississippi State, Arkansas, South Carolina, and Vanderbilt.
Yep, certainly, Arkansas sitting at 17. There's 5 teams there with an opportunity to host regionals for sure. You would think Florida is going to be a national seed. Kentucky, at 8. I mean, if they win their last 2 series, they're going to make a strong case to be a national seed as well. And don't forget about Mississippi State. If they somehow find a way to win the SEC championship, the conference champion has been a national seed every year since the field expanded to 64 teams back in 1999. So the SEC, while they put a record 4 national seeds in the picture last year, could end up with 3 this year.
Dylan Ingram takes a strike from Zach Hess, 1-2. Ingram is 1 for 2 with an RBI. Nice breaking pitch. Hess goes back to the twister and records his first strikeout, only the second of the night by LSU pitching.
Well, the pitch before this set it up, threw it for a strike, the breaking ball. Now has the command of it to make it look like a strike, but dropped it just out of the zone. And Dylan Ingram couldn't hold his swing.
Anthony is 0 for 3. He's grounded out 3 times. last year. The SEC had, what, 7 regional host sites?
7. That set a record, too. Only 7 teams got in the conference, out of the conference, but all 7 hosted regionals. The LSU, or the Southeastern Conference, appears to be going to get more than 7 this year. I mean, there's a legitimate chance of 9, maybe 10 teams getting in. I think Ole Miss kind of sitting down there, lost again today. I think they're starting to fade out of it a little bit. They may need a strong finish to get back in.
The 2-0. Hit sharply, and it scoots through the infield for a base hit by Josh Anthony. But Josh Anthony singles with some authority. That's the 8th hit for Auburn. It comes with 1 out. And every time there's an Auburn base runner, it brings the potential tying run to the plate.
Exactly. Josh Anthony has swung it well tonight, hitting that hard ground ball double play in the 2nd inning, but he's barreled up several balls. We had talked a lot of new faces on this team for this Auburn squad. Out of the 30 kids, 20 of them were not in uniform last year. And if you talk to Butch Thompson, he decided to go the junior college route. A lot of JC guys he brought in that's really fit well into his program. 4 junior college starters in the lineup. Lots of new faces.
Logan is 0 for 2 with a walk. Ball 1. Hunter Newman is watching in the bullpen right now. He's been throwing occasionally. Two balls, no strikes to Blake Logan. Jeremy Johnson is on deck. There's only one other game in progress tonight. Texas A&M is leading Ole Miss in the 8th inning. In Oxford, it's 11-4. The Aggies by 7 in the 8th inning. South Carolina held on to beat Missouri 4-3. Arkansas beat Vanderbilt by that same score. Florida 2-1 over Alabama, so 3 one-run games. Kentucky 15-5 over Tennessee. Mississippi State 9, Georgia 3. Speaking of one-run games, Auburn this year is 11-5 in one-run games. Last year it was 1-11. It only won 1 of a dozen one-run games last year. Blake Logan didn't have much of a chance to put the pipe on that one.
That ball had some extra life to it right at the end. You could see just at the very end of that, the last 5 or 6 feet, that ball cut and ran down and away. Watch the late action on this ball. See, it kind of cut down and away. I don't think Zach Hess is doing that on purpose. That's just a fastball. Sometimes you get around it and cut it a little bit accidentally as a pitcher. It's a good pitch whenever you do.
The 2-2 is slice foul.
See, that one was more of a true four-seam fastball that kind of stayed the course.
LSU in this series, we'll see Mize and, of course, Thompson tonight. Mize is 2nd in the SEC in ERA. Thompson came into the game 4th. So you got to beat 2 good pitchers when you beat those 2 guys. Right now,
no
LSU
doubt.
is leading 5-3.
Zach Hess wants the curveball here. Michael Papierski 3 times put down the one. He shook every time. Let's see if he goes to the breaking ball. Oh, went back to the fastball.
At 92 miles an hour, and he got it by Blake Logan.
Pitching coach won that one. He shook 3 times and redid the sign from Alan Dunn and came right back with another fastball.
2 strikeouts tonight for Hess. They've both come in this inning. They've been sandwiched around a Josh Anthony base hit. He's on with 2 outs. Jeremy Johnson is 0 for 3. 2 ground outs and a fly ball to Dykeman. The SEC Network will have the game tomorrow at noon Central Time. That'll wrap up the series. LSU hosts Northwestern State out of the Southland Conference on Tuesday and then goes to Mississippi State for the final weekend. Auburn will be home next weekend against Ole Miss.
Watch how quickly Michael Papierski at 6'4" jumps up, throws a dart down to first base.
Freeman for the third out. A good 8th inning for Hess. He's got an inning and a third to his credit out of the bullpen. LSU 5, Auburn 3. LSU 5, Auburn 3. And Elliot Anderson has come out of the bullpen, replacing Keegan Thompson. Elliot Anderson making his 11th appearance. He's had 1 decision. That was in the win column. A 7.5 ERA. He's only thrown 10 2/3 innings, walked 7 and struck out 8.
It's a Ronald Reagan type fastball, Lynn Rollins, to steal one of your lines. Mid-80s with a curveball and a changeup.
I like it.
I figured you would.
This guy has been touched for 17 hits in 10 2/3 innings.
Yeah, he's not a swing and miss guy. I mean, the fastball, as we mentioned, is a mid-80s kind of fastball. The curveball's a controllable curve, but not really an out kind of pitch for him. He just kind of spots it and pitches a little bit.
Does this surprise you a little bit that Auburn is throwing a guy with a high ERA and a fellow who's given up a lot of runs in a short period of time? It's only a 2-run game.
Yeah, certainly they're in the ball game. But Klobosits came in last night. Remember, Klobosits came in relief for Andrew Mitchell last night, and Klobosits had a pretty high ERA too, and he had a lot of success against LSU.
There's a base hit for Duplantis, his first of the night, and his hitting streak is now 5.
Antoine Duplantis has done this his entire career at LSU. He came in hitting the ball the other way, and that's why his batting average has been so high the last couple of years. If it's pitched away, he will serve it that way.
That's his 64th hit, and he leads the team. Here's Dykeman, who's hot on his heels. Greg is 0 for 3 with a strikeout looking. Coombs is on deck. Dykeman legs it out. Auburn unable to turn it. Holland had a little bit of trouble getting it started at shortstop.
You're right. This ball hit plenty hard enough by Greg Dykeman. But right here, watch the little bit of a bobble. Just a quarter of a second bobble was the difference in being able to turn that ground ball double play.
There is a side-wheeling right-hander in the bullpen. And we could have an Auburn pitching change here. So Elliot Anderson was summoned to start the inning to go against the 2 left-handed batters, and Calvin Coker, the side-wheeler, is coming out of the bullpen to face Nick Coombs. We will return in a moment. LSU 5, Auburn 3. Calvin Coker, who is a taller version of LSU's Colin Stroll, is coming out of the bullpen here. This side wheeler is making his 26th appearance. 3-1 record with a 3.79 ERA. 40 and a third innings, only 8 walks. His control has been good. He struck out 31. So it is Coker against Coombs.
Yeah, Coker leads the team in appearances. He's been one of the better ones out of the bullpen for Auburn. That low 3/4 arm slot's really tough on right-handers. He kind of dropped. It's not sidearm, but it's very close to it. The ball's got a lot of sink and run to it. Of course, he has a good breaking ball he throws off of it as well.
Coker has allowed 39 hits in those 40 innings, and he's been reached only once for a home run. Here's Coombs, who's 0 for 3. He has popped up to the first baseman, fouled out to the right fielder, and grounded out to the shortstop. Coker to Coombs. Dykeman is at first base. Most of the production tonight for LSU offensively has come from the bottom of the order. Watson is 3 for 3 in the 9-hole with 2 singles and a 2-run homer. Papierski has walked and scored and has a 2-run homer. And Bo Jordan is 1 for 3 with a run scored. LSU is trying to add to its 2-run lead. It'll be 8-9-1 for the Auburn Tigers in the 9th inning. Estes, Holland, and Todd.
See, this is one of the cool things about college baseball to me. You know, you call an offensive timeout. You don't get that in the big league level, where the head coach can go talk directly to the batter.
I haven't seen the rule book lately, but I believe you get 1 per inning.
Yep, I think you're right. You can see the movement on that fastball from Calvin Coker. Starts it more towards the center of the plate. It'll run all the way to the inside corner, even off the inside corner.
Three and 0. We're in the LSU 8th. 1 on, 1 out. Dykeman at first base. Duplantis single to open the inning. Dykeman reached on a fielder's choice. Hunter Newman is throwing heartily in the LSU bullpen right now. He may come on in the 9th. Runner is breaking, and Coombs can't put it between the lines.
Notice the sequence of signals from catcher to pitcher a little bit backwards for Auburn. Watching Logan, the catcher for Auburn, he put down a 2 all night long, and that means fastball, which is just the opposite, and 1 means breaking ball.
Maybe when you throw it underhand, it's different.
And all the signals were the same even when Keegan Thompson was in. When he put down a 2, fastball came.
Dykeman on the move again, but it's ball 4. Two on, 1 out for Josh Smith, who's 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored.
Well, if you're LSU, you're looking for some insurance runs, even going to the last inning. Of course, if you're Auburn, you got to find a way right now to draw a line, because you don't want to get down more than what you are. You get down 3 runs or more, it's awfully tough. You don't see many 3-run innings, 4-run innings in college baseball, and Auburn only 3 outs to work with.
You know, talking about big innings, and I really like this team to go far in postseason. Texas Tech this year has scored 4 or more in an inning nearly 30 times.
It's good offense, and it's a team that's been there all year long and certainly have positioned themselves to be a national seed, along with Oregon State, who's been ranked number 1 pretty much the entire season, and shows you the number 1 pitching staff in the entire country over at Oregon State.
Johnson with a long run from left field, but it's the shortstop who crosses over into foul ground and makes the play. Will Holland with a heck of a catch. He went sliding into Josh Anthony. The 2 infielders hit the deck. Watch the shortstop take over right here.
What an effort by Will Holland. Of course, he had the better angle on it coming from shortstop, played a little bit deeper than the third baseman, Anthony. They kind of crashed into each other a little bit down there.
When it left the bat, I thought it was Jeremy Johnson's ball or nobody's, the left fielder, but Will Holland with a terrific play.
Well, Will Holland hadn't been the everyday shortstop. Everyday shortstop hurt for Auburn. Will Holland is a true freshman, and of course, going to take over at that spot probably next year. And you talk about a talent. Run, throw, hit. He showed you some of his ability on that play.
Here's Bo Jordan, who's 1 for 3, 2 outs. That one curls away from Bo. LSU has never trailed in this game, but it took a 2-run homer in the bottom of the 7th by Michael Papierski to push LSU away from a 3-3 tie.
That's a really good pitch by Calvin Coker. Watch this ball just disappear. Fastball, fastball. Nope, it's gone.
Jordan lifts it into the air, left side. Johnson's got a lot of time, and he's got it. LSU leaves a couple of base runners. We go to the 9th. LSU 5, Auburn 3. LSU 5, Auburn 3. Auburn has 3 outs with which to work in the top of the 9th. And it's Hunter Newman, who is looking for his 8th save of the season. He's appearing in his 19th game. A 1-1 record with an ERA of just under 1. Only 18 1/3 innings. He's walked 11, and that's been a problem sometimes. He has struck out 20.
Yeah, he missed some time about a month ago with a back issue. Missed about 3 weeks of the season, and took him a little bit of time to kind of get back in shape. But
Newman, he's allowed 14 hits, so
he seems to be back to normal now. I mean, the fastball, you won't see 94 out of him. It's going to be anywhere from 86, maybe bump 90 occasionally. But the breaking ball is a pitch for him. When that breaking ball is on, he is awfully tough to score on.
And Hunter Newman, a newly minted graduate in sports administration. Jay Estes and Will Holland and Jonah Todd, 8, 9, and 1 in the order for Auburn. Estes is 2 for 3. He has struck out and singled in his last 2 at-bats. And he's the guy who got it all started when Auburn rallied with 2 outs and nobody on base as he battled Jared Poche and finally singled. That was the last batter that Poche faced. Poche left with a 3-1 lead, but he's not going to figure in the decision. Right now, Zach Hess is the pitcher of record for LSU.
And if you're Auburn, that's what you're trying to do. You're just trying to get on base and get that tie-in run to the plate. We talked about Auburn being 14th best out of 14 teams in home runs, but as of late, they've hit some homers. 15 homers in their last 17 games. So they have the guys to do it.
2-1 pitch. Off the mark, 3-1. Hess went an inning and a third, allowed a couple of hits, 1 walk, struck out 2. And Newman finds the strike zone.
89 miles an hour, and I mean right on the outside corner. How about this 3-1 fastball? Pretty good job by Michael Papierski.
Smith short hops it and throws right to the chest of Coombs.
Giant first out for Hunter Newman, LSU. Estes gets up 3 balls and 1 strike. Newman able to make 2 really good pitches, and the freshman over at third base, Josh Smith, who made a giant error, has been so good all year long, makes that play look easy.
Everything is over with the exception of this game in the league. Mississippi State 9-3 over Georgia. Kentucky whipped Tennessee 15-5. Florida 2, Alabama 1. Arkansas 4, Vanderbilt 3. South Carolina 4, Missouri 3. Texas A&M 12, Ole Miss 5. With a win tonight, LSU would be 16-9 in the league. 1 game behind Mississippi State in the Western Division, and 1 game behind Florida in the Eastern Division. Out to Dykeman. 2 outs. Actually, LSU would be 17-9.
Correct. Yes, LSU came in today with 16 wins. Pretty good shot. With Ed Moon coming up in the background.
Well, is it a bad moon horizon or not? We'll find out on this last out. Jonah Todd has 2 base hits, make it 3 base hits tonight. 4 in the series.
Yeah, Jonah Todd, one of those junior college transfers that's gelled so well with this Auburn lineup. One of the best hitters in the SEC.
He's hit safely in 18 of his last 19 games, but he takes a strike. He had a 16-game hitting streak snapped right before this series started. He's got 3 hits tonight, and he's lined out to left field. 2 outs, nobody on. Here's the pitch. Grounded up the middle. It's beyond Robertson, and Jonah Todd at the top of the order has a 4-hit night.
Yeah, how about Jonah Todd? All the pressure in the world on him. 2 out, nobody on. You're 2 runs down. You take a breaking ball and hit it right back up the middle. Now Auburn brings the tying run to the plate.
Jonah Todd now has 77 hits tonight. 77 hits after tonight. And, you know, he's the leading hit producer for Auburn by more than 25 on the year. Here's Daniel Robert. A strike from Hunter Newman. Robert has flied to center. He has walked. He has singled. He has walked again. He's 1 for 2. The outfield is deep. Very deep for Daniel Robert. Runner breaking. He's not held. That pitch just off the mark. Todd gets his 10th stolen base. This was LSU's choice to let him take that bag.
See, Michael Papierski had set up right on the outside corner, maybe just off.
Newman got the first 2 batters, but Todd singled up the middle. Daniel Robert has homered 4 times this year.
Yeah, got to be careful here if you're Hunter Newman and LSU. Don't want to leave something out over the plate. Not to Daniel Robert.
Off speed. A good changeup.
That's the pitch for Hunter Newman. Watch the bottom. Good breaking ball. That's his pitch. Lots of options here. Fastball off the plate. Or you can throw that same breaking ball, but it's got to be located like that. It can't be first strike. It's got to be down in the dirt.
This crowd is standing, sending its encouragement to Newman. 1-2 pitch. He struck him out with a changeup. LSU wins 5-3, the final tonight over Auburn, and the Tigers of LSU have won the first 2 games in the series.
LSU only gets 7 hits, but 2 of them were 2-run home runs. Of course, an RBI single by Kramer Robertson. Zach Hess was good. Jared Poche did his normal thing. Battled. Of course, Hunter Newman comes in and slams the door for his 8th save of the season.
So a 4-0 victory last night. Tonight the Tigers only get 7 hits, but 2 of them are 2-run homers. One by Michael Papierski. That was the difference maker in the 7th, and a couple of innings before that, Zach Watson blasted one off the scoreboard.
Yeah, LSU only gives up 1 earned run tonight, so in 18 innings of work, LSU pitching has been outstanding, giving up 1 earned run in 18 innings pitched in this series so far.
Zach Hess, the winning pitcher in relief. Jared Poche pitched well. He left with a 3-1 lead, but a couple of unearned runs evened the score. Zach Hess, the winner in relief. He's now 6-1. So, Ben, this sets up again a huge game tomorrow between the 2 Tiger teams, even though LSU already has won the series.
Yeah, Auburn just in a tailspin right now. We talked about the sweep last weekend. They've lost the first 2 in this series, so now they've lost 6 in a row for a team that started last weekend in first place. They've got to find a way to at least salvage a win from this series moving forward. For LSU, it's a great opportunity. Still chasing Mississippi State, 1 game behind them and 1 game for the overall championship. A sweep would be gigantic for LSU. It would take you into Starkville, Mississippi next weekend with the SEC championship on the line.
So with the full moon hanging over Alex Box Stadium, the Tigers come away tonight as winners 5-3. Don't forget, the series finale is tomorrow at noon Central Time. It will be available to you on the SEC Network. For Ben McDonald, I'm Lynn Rollins saying so long from Baton Rouge, where LSU tonight beats Auburn 5-3 the final.